Okay, we're a couple minutes past 9:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. This is the special events team meeting for Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. My name is Kelly Frank. I'm with the city clerk's office as the clerk's special events coordinator. I'm sitting in for Maria Wieg. She is the director of community engagement and the special events chair, but was not able to be in attendance today. Today's meeting is to discuss details of special events as a group and work through any concerns and tie up loose ends. We'll not be approving or denying any events during this time. That happens as the event gets closer and everything gets wrapped up. Please be mindful that the meeting is online and live streamed. So use your microphones close and clearly, and don't say anything that you wouldn't want your mother to hear. We'll start with introductions with those in the room and then go to those that are online. And then once we discuss the specific areas of the event, we'll go in order of the departments and agencies. So we'll go ahead and start with ACHG.
Tanya Motisi, Ada County Highway District.
Ed Graves, Public Works.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Vince Vergara, City of Boise Parking.
Dave Foch, Valley Regional Transit.
Julianne Hagler, City Risk Management.
Sam Van Doren, Downtown Boise.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
Dino Sugar, City Clerk Office.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Prevention.
Cameron Coles, Boise Police Department Alcohol.
Matt Sly, Boise Police Department.
Matthew Konvalinka, Boise Police Department.
Mallory Wilson, Office of Emergency Preparedness.
And online, we have Central District Health.
Good morning. This is Dinko Milkovich with Central District Health.
Thanks, Dinko. Today we have two events by the same presenter. I'd like to welcome David Borchers and Griffin. Thank you. We'll go ahead and get started with the first event for you guys, which is the famous Idaho Potato Marathon. Give me just a second to switch over the screen.
Testing. Yep, should be good. All right. So thanks for having us again. We get to talk to you about the famous Idaho Potato Marathon. This year, this race is one that the Valley knows really well. We're in our 46th year of producing this event, but we do have some major changes going on with the event this year. After previous years, we finally kind of outgrown the venue of Albertson's headquarters on Park Center. We had a lot of parking issues that necessitated a change. This year, we have moved to the east lot and using the Boise State Stadium at Boise State campus. So we've had to reconfigure our course a bit, and I feel like it's actually worked out to most everybody's benefit. It reuses a lot less of public roadways. It's a lot more of a manageable space, better parking infrastructure. I think it's going to be great. So let me tell you a little bit about that. So as you can see, the population for this race has grown since our virtual days during COVID. We're finally kind of coming back to the year totals that we used to see prior to COVID. So 2019, we were at 2654. Last year, we ended up with 2379. This year, we're trending about 20% higher. So we're looking to be back at our original numbers in the 26 to 27 range. And I think we'll kind of easily get there. This race, like I said, has been in the Valley for 46 years now. We've done this event predominantly on the Green Belt for that whole time. But the purpose of this event really is to bring the community together with an eye on inclusiveness and healthy living and all those things. This event is particularly special to me and the YMCA because compared to some of the other events we do, this one has national and international reach. So this event will actually bring participants from over 40 states last year, and I think we had 12 different countries represented. This is a Boston qualifying event, so we see professional grade athletes coming to this one from all over the country and participating at a very high level. So this event is, I would say, the premier event that the YMCA does. As far as moving into our new venue, so we do have, this is kind of a Spartan-esque slide. I didn't include everything we have on there because our finish fair being a different configuration, we're adding and changing things pretty regularly right now up until the point of the race. We have, I think, 8 vendors, non-food truck vendors who are planning to participate with us. And we have 2 confirmed food trucks that will be there. Dinko, I know we haven't sent you the Central District information yet because we're waiting to get permits from Aloha Fresh and Stella's. Aloha Fresh is just relicensing right now and we want to make sure we get them a chance to come in, but I'll get the CDH form over to you once we have those permits. We're planning on having 2 more invited vendors as well. We're trying to make this finish fair a little bit more of a stay and linger, enjoy a good time. Whereas previously it's been kind of a transitory finish fair. You just finish, you get your baked potato and you move on. This time we want to really encourage people to enjoy the atmosphere, stay a little bit longer. We have the playground project. The Idaho Playground Project is going to be putting on basically some yard games and different things for us. We have music being played. We're going to have a baked potato bar for all the participants. We're going to have these food truck vendors as well as other vendors who are going to be doing different various activities for us around the venue. So this will change a little bit. We'll augment this over time, but we'll always make sure we relay the pertinent information to who needs it. As I said before, this is a new course at a new venue using Boise State Stadium as the starting and gathering place. All of the participants will be able to go out onto the blue turf about an hour before the race starts, enjoy some little activities out there, photo opportunities, be able to hear, ready, set, go on the big loudspeakers of the stadium. And then they will exit the stadium this year through the northwest gate and head out onto the greenbelt through Cesar Chavez, and we'll kind of go over the course. But as far as course management and traffic control goes this year, we have needed much less. In fact, we kind of spoke a little bit about TCs for this course. The only portion of the race that impacts public roadways is a little section from Park Street to Warm Springs along Walnut. So that's the only point where any of our participants will be on a public roadway. The rest of the time, they'll be on the green belt, out of harm's way, in a very manageable, easy position. So it does cut down the workload for all of us pretty well. We will work with BPD to figure out where the best places to guard are. We've always used BPD, I think, at Park and Walnut, as the large crowd tends to they make that left turn onto Walnut, and we do like to have somebody visible there. We will be also having Boise Motor Escort and React volunteer resources as well. So Matt, both of you Matts, will talk to you about what resources you want where, but we do have resources at your disposal wherever you want to put them. Like I said, the course has changed a little bit to be mainly on the greenbelt. We start at the stadium, we'll head towards Ann Morrison Park and cross the bridge there before heading back down south on the north side of the river. The main course for the marathon is a double loop. So that main body that you see there is a double loop. At one point, they'll do a little tail out Eckert and Warm Springs along the green belt there. But it's a very self-contained course this year. For security plan, we already have 50 volunteers who have been assigned to marshaling the course. So we will have personnel out on the course at every major junction, just keeping participants safe. We have 9 fully staffed aid stations that we've set up. to provide hydration, first aid, support, all of those good things. BSU Parking Service will be providing all of the parking coordination, which is one major thing off of our plate. We're very happy to have that taken care of, as well as they will be providing security personnel, not only for nighttime operations or to watch over our site during the night, but we also wanted to bring in security for the first time during the day. Since we are anticipating bigger crowds, we're happy to have some security presence from BSU there just to make sure no major incidents happen. If major incidents happen, we can respond to them quickly. So we're happy to have that as a resource as well. The starting layout, as you can see, is pretty simple. Our finish fair is going to be in the north side of the east lot. Participants will be able to ingress the stadium from both the north and south sides of the east side of the stadium. They will exit from the northwest side. As soon as they hit Cesar Chavez, they turn left, and then they will be on Cesar Chavez as we start to merge them onto the Greenbelt. We've spoken to BSU about closing down Cesar Chavez altogether during those main times when we're sending thousands of runners out onto the course. We're going to actually pause all traffic there, have it completely closed down to through traffic, and merge everybody onto the Greenbelt. As soon as the main bodies of participants have started, Cesar Chavez will be able to resume most of its major functions, only will reroute the shuttle around the stadium on the west side so that nothing gets impacted on the east side. Finish area takes place in the parking lot there. You can see we've got the chute coming in from the north across the finish line. Finish fair there is going to include all of the normal vendors that we've had, as well as our baked potato bar, all of our project playground items. We still haven't been able to get the giant Idaho potato truck to join us yet. They're always on tour in May, but we're trying to get them to change their plan just for us, which doesn't seem to work out all the time. But we're going to have a great time. Spuddy Buddy is going to be out there. You can get your picture with Spuddy out on the blue turf. So, full site picture you can see there. This is the area that we've contracted with BSU to use as far as for parking. We can kind of dictate how we want to control the flow of traffic in this area for the purpose of our event. Like I said, we're going to be able to reroute shuttles and buses on Cesar Chavez during this event so that they don't have to impact our finish fair. The biggest blessing here is that BSU does events bigger than anything we've ever done, and it's a walk in the park for them. So we are very glad to have their resources and their expertise on how to handle this site. Neighborhood notification, because we're predominantly on the Greenbelt now, there's only two sections. Over in the River Run area and over in the Barber Park area where we do impact neighborhoods. We will run through neighborhoods there. Those neighborhoods will be, notified and have mailers going out in the next week or so, as well as inside neighborhood notifications going up in the next 2 weeks. But this event does not affect the downtown core. So we won't have to, unfortunately, do all the stuff with the Downtown Neighborhood Association. But on this one, we'll talk to them for Capital Classic. Sanitation. So sanitation, we have 2 ADA and 18 standard facilities provided by United Services. They're contracted with BSU. They're going to provide those for us at the finish fair. And then we'll have 1 ADA and 1 standard facility at each of our aid stations along the course, provided by Porta Pros. Trash and recycling, we have already requested a 20-yard dumpster and a 20-yard recycling bin positioned in the finish fair area along Broadway. And as I've discussed with Conrad, we're working on who gives the final approval, but I've gotten verbal approval that we can put it wherever we want from parking and the facilities at BSU, but I have not gotten the permit per se just yet. And then we are going to supplement on-site trash with 10 and 10 trash and recycling boxes. The 5-mile course, just really briefly, is a nice little loop up to Ann Morrison Park and back on the Broadway Bridge. The 10-mile course passes the Broadway Bridge and takes that turn up onto Walnut, down back onto the green belt, and then back to the finish area. The half-mile course is a single loop of the whole picture there, and the marathon is a double loop with that little tail out on Eckert and Warm Springs. So nice thing is this is a much more self-contained area than we've had in the past. It's allowed us to position people in a more economical way so that we can actually serve people without spreading too thin, which has been a challenge in the past. As far as a medical plan goes, I do have a contracted service with Victory Medical Transport for one ambulance with a paramedic. I reviewed the medical matrix and made sure we followed the step there to get the proper level of service, as well as our 4 YMCA lifeguards, as we always have. Their ALS trained. 2 of them will be at an aid station at the finish fair, and 2 will be roving in a golf cart, kind of going between aid stations, making sure everything is good there. All of the aid stations have kind of a EAP that they are asked to follow in the event of an emergency. If there is a major medical emergency, they've been asked to call 911 first. We request that they all download the What 3 Words and Pulse Point apps so that they can be more easily found. And then after that, they can call us on cell phone as race directors so that we can respond through our chain as well. If it's not an emergency, they will call us first, and then we will determine a point of action or how to best respond at that. And that appears to be the last slide for that one. So,
Thank you, David. Great to have this event back, and very fun that you're ending at Bronco Stadium. I'm sure that that'll attract a few more people. We'll go ahead and go around the room and just please clarify if you have any questions, comments, concerns that you need to work through while we're here. Thank you.
David, we can chat offline about the things that I need from you, but looks like a great event.
yeah, thank you.
Hey, David Griffin, just quickly, did you distribute the vendor low waste guide?
I have that.
Okay,
I have done that for previous events. I think it's kind of a part of a standard package I'm trying to put together, so they will get that.
perfect. Okay,
Before the
thank
day.
you.
Yeah.
And then also, in previous events and then including this, like how does, sort of like the end of the run, like litter sweep on the green belt? Is that always, do you find much or do you?
Well, following the event, all of the staff will do basically a full sweep, multiple sweeps of the course, picking up trash. Per se, the biggest volume of trash is always around the aid stations. And we make sure that those volunteers do a good job of cleaning up. And then if they don't, we come around and we'll pick up anything after the fact.
Okay.
So there is protocol for them to make sure their area is spotless when they are done. But we will always go around and double check and make sure that's happened.
Well, thank you. And I've never heard any complaints. I was just curious, how that's
Oh,
gone.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, we'll just work offline and we'll get you what you need as far as the trash boxes and recycle.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, David Griffin. Thank you. We've worked out just about all the details. We have to finalize that BSU thing, but we're in good shape. Hey, as long as I've been on the special events team, this event's always had 20-yard trash, 20-yard recycle, and I've never really followed up to see if that's meeting your needs, if it's too little, too much. So I just want to get your thought.
Based on my time at this event, we've never filled the 20-yard, but based on the volume of product that's out there, it's nice to have. I don't think I would want to go smaller necessarily, just because this is a big event where we see, 2,500 people and participating along with 2,500 spectators usually. So with that large of a crowd, 20 yards is good.
Okay. Well, thank you for saying so. I'd rather have you have too much room and not use it than not enough.
Agreed.
So,
And that's my philosophy there as well.
Thank you.
David, we're set. We're good in parking. Thank you.
Hi, David. This doesn't seem to impact any of our routes. So I hope you have a good event. Thanks. We're
Thank you very
good.
much.
Hi there. We do have your COI from last time, so we're good to go.
Perfect.
Hello, we talked about the neighborhood notifications and we're all set.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Excited to have you back. This is just that time of year that I will keep you updated on the river flows. And if we have any closures or detours, I'll just try our best to talk about that early and often. I'm also going to send you an updated bill to make sure we have the new greenbelt uses on it. So
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
so you know that.
And I do know, just as a clarification too, one thing that may happen is the river tends to always flood at Park Center
Mhm.
on the south side. If the river gets to a certain level, we do have a potential course change to where we'd have to cross over Park Center.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that and see if there's any contingency plans along with that.
Perfect. As we get closer to that, we'll just loop in ACHD for those conversations too.
Perfect.
So thanks.
We'll go to Central District Health online.
Hi, David. Thank you for the presentation. Based on what you said, it sounds like you're familiar with the process, the forms that need to be filled out. So please just submit the notification of event at your earliest convenience. Regarding the food vendors, the ones that have active mobile permits, they'll be good to go as far as CDH is concerned. If you just hypothetically, if you're going to have any vendors that are setting up a booth and operating with a temporary event permit, if they don't already have one for this calendar year, then just advise them to submit one as soon as possible, please.
Okay,
So
absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. So in terms of fire safety, fire prevention, fire code, because this is at Boise State University, it falls under the jurisdiction of the state fire marshal. So I'm going to need to have you contact the state fire marshal's office, submit all of this. But as far as I can see, your plan looks good. I don't see any major problems with it. It's going to be all the same requirements. So
Okay,
just make sure you contact them.
will do. Do you have a link or something?
Yeah, I'll
can
send you
my
some
way?
info. Yeah.
No, perfect.
Okay, and Battalion Chief Detman is online with Boise Fire. He oversees the medical, so he is listening in but not able to correspond, but he will review the medical plan along with Mallory, so
Okay.
we'll get back to you if there's any questions.
Sounds good.
Nothing for me. We're good. Thanks.
I'm interested to see how the new route works out, the new starting, looks much better. We'll be in touch as far as, staffing should be much easier.
Mhm.
And then anticipate whether we need to, as far as for the green belt flooding, what we need to do for that, but
Okay,
and that looks good.
excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Hi, thanks for all your attention to detail on the security and medical plans. I did see that we have that medical plan on file, so I don't think that we have any concerns this time, but we will reach out if needed. And yeah, we have lots of people that monitor the flooding and keep an eye on
Mhm.
potential increases and changes. So I think we'll all be in touch there.
Yeah. Yeah, the river keeps me up at night these days. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And give us just a second and we'll turn over to the Capital Classic Kids Run for June 1st.
Okay, so Capital Classic Kids Run has reached a major milestone. We've hit 40 years running for this event. I think most of us who've been in the Valley for any length of time are familiar with this event, and some of us have participated in it. I ran in this one as a kid. It's very near and dear to my heart. My daughters are going to run in it for the first time this year. So it's a generational thing. We're excited to bring it back again this year. This race particular doesn't have any major changes to it. So the plan that has been the modus operandi in the past is continuing this year, although there are some talks to make some deviations in the future to make this event a little bit more valley friendly, while still maintaining the tradition of what this event really is. So as you know, this is a kids run meant for kids between the ages of 6 and 14. previous years, we've seen, in the 1500s, this race unfortunately is kind of suffering from a decline that we're trying to figure out the best way to overcome. Hence, we're going to talk about some changes in the future about how to make this more appealing to kids. What we found is that the time of year is kind of a struggle. People are leaving on vacations right after school gets out, and as opposed to being in the valley a little bit longer. So we may have to talk about a schedule change. We may have to talk about a route change, but we'll talk about those things later on. This year, we're hoping to maintain our numbers and see about 1,000 people, between 800 and 1,000 running on the course this year. The only change that we have actually made to the event is to allow a parent to run with their child on the course this year. So in previous years, we have not allowed parents on the course. I don't know if you've ever been out there to see it, but it ends up being the parent 1 mile on the sidewalk. And so what we decided to do was to just allow the parent to be on the roadway with their kids. And we've already seen a little bit of a boost in participation because some parents really can't let their kids go, if you know what I mean. So I think it'll be good to have the parents out there. This course is very cool as well because one of the things that we try to do is make this an adaptive race, or we try to bring out, or we try to alleviate any excuse any parent or participant might have in participating in this event. We make this one adaptive friendly. We provide running buddies for people. We provide subsidized financial assistance so that any person who wants to participate in this event can do so. Because this is about building a community of healthy living, and there should be no holdbacks, whether that's a physical or mental challenge, whether that's a financial challenge. We don't want the kids to feel like there's a reason they cannot participate in the Capital Classic. For that reason, with our partners, St. Alphonsus, the YMCA, all of the partners that we work with, we really focus on making this an inclusive and just full, I don't know the best way to put it, a very inclusive event that allows every person to be out there regardless of their circumstances. So we have a few food vendors who will be with us participating in our finish fair. We have Albertsons providing whole fruit, Meadow Gold chocolate milk, Swire Coca-Cola is providing our bottled water, Go-Go Squeeze, Mountain Berry Bowl and Kona Ice are going to be providing shaved ice and acai bowls for sale. So we do have to get those CDH permits sent off for them as well. So Dinko, I've got you in mind again for this one as well. Providing a little bit more of a finish fair experience like we're doing with the Famous Potato. We are trying to make the finish fair for the Capital Classic a little bit more of a stay here and enjoy a community event, whereas in the past people tend to move off pretty quickly. We want to slow them down a little bit. Finish fair vendors are St. Alphonsus, YMCA, Big Al's, Bandana, ICCU, Norco. We'll have a photo booth. I believe even potential of ACHD might even be there doing their red light, green light game again. Kids loved that last year, so they may be there. And then also we're going to have a vintage military vehicle collector bring out group of vintage military vehicles for the kids to climb on. Last year we had fire and ambulance and a police. Well, the police never showed up. So your SWAT vehicle was called out the day before, I think. So I'll give you a pass, but the SWAT vehicle was supposed to be there, but I'll give you a hard time. Okay, if you want to, we could definitely try again this year. We're going to have those military vehicles because the kids really enjoyed being able to climb on those and spend some time around them. So we'd be happy to have Boise Fire provide an ambulance or a fire engine and an ambulance as well. We can talk about that. Traffic control plan. This plan has been executed every year for the last 40 years. We've gotten pretty good at doing the rolling closures. The biggest hurdles that we have had in previous years was traffic control product, right? That's been one of the things that's come up for these events. We have our contract with AWP this year again. AWP has assured me that they have enough product designated for this event this year. There should be no shortages like we had last year. And also I did have a conversation with them, given the amount of traffic control already on the downtown streets. We've asked them to pick up as quickly as possible. So I'm trying to convince them to just follow along almost with their trailers and get the barrels and candles out of the way as we go. Well, that's the intent anyway. We're going to try to get traffic control cleaned up as quickly as we can afterwards. The traffic control plans have not changed. I'm sorry I didn't have them to you already, but they do exist. The traffic control plans are pretty well thought out. This plan has worked for years past. We just need to make sure the product is on the ground. Other than that, I don't think any major changes need to happen unless there is a consideration for active construction that we should be aware of. We can make changes that adapt to what's already out there. Neighborhood notification plan, already kind of spoke about that. We are in the process of working with previously Sierra, and she kind of got the ball rolling on doing the neighborhood notification plan through the downtown core. We're working on that, and we'll have that paperwork submitted to you as soon as it's completed, as well as having some posters and signs out there. Reader boards for this event are going to go up a week and a half in advance in strategic locations at Royal and 9th, as well as Vista and Rose Hill, so that traffic going into the valley and coming out of the valley will know that something will be happening there, as well as BSU is notified that this may impact graduations, which has happened in the past. I think this year we're only conflicting one graduation, which is nice, but we will try to mitigate any problems that parents and participants in a graduation have with the road closure. Sanitation, we do request the dumpster, one dumpster. I think we have an 8-yard dumpster and an 8-yard recycling bin to be at Cecil Andrus Park, where we have set up our finish fair. These ACHD permits have been obtained. I did call them and got all that handled, so we're good. Facilities for this event, we usually have 6 facilities up at the train depot, 1 ADA and 5 standard ones at the start, 1 ADA and 7 standard facilities at the finish provided by Porta Pros. We do work with Summer. You'll just let us know when to put them on the ground. I know we're working around some weddings at the train depot, but I can be out there in the middle of the night like I usually am to claim that territory. No problem whatsoever. So just work with us on that. The main start area is, of course, the Boise Train Depot. We have a traffic pattern where we have encouraged people to stay in the far right lane as they come up Capitol Boulevard. They turn onto Eastover Terrace, drop off their kids and a parent this time at the train depot for staging, and then we funnel everybody out onto Crescent Rim where they can head back downtown through Americana or loop back around and come down Capitol Boulevard. That process has worked really well. I don't see any need for changing that, so we'll stick to plan as usual there. Finish fair at Cecil Andrus Park, the footprint is always the same. A vendor or two may change. All of these vendors have been confirmed currently for this year. So we're pretty nice to have a group of people that love doing this event so much that they contract for year after year engagements. So this is really nice. The medical plan that we have for this, we do have an ambulance contracted with Victory Medical Transport. We may have another ambulance from St. Al's since they are a major sponsor. So I'm not sure who will show up yet, whether it's Victory Medical Transport or St. Al's ambulance group, but I will have one of those. Do you need to know which one it is exactly ahead of time? Okay, so I'll try to iron out exactly which one that is, and I'll make sure that that's listed. We'll have an EMT and a paramedic there. Our 4 YMCA lifeguards will be on hand, 2 at the start, 2 at the finish. And then we do have aids, first aid stations, not full on aid stations, but first aid stations planted at specific or strategic different intersections along the road that get packed up as participants run along. As always, we try to make sure everybody has the What 3 Words and Pulse Point apps so that if they have to respond, you can get to them quickly. Lost parent and parking. So each child has a color associated with their bib. Back at here, you'll see we have 4 colored flags that are in the park. Each kid is assigned a color. They'll meet their parent at that location. If they are missed, then the radio station in the center of the park is our gathering point. If a lost parent results, because typically the kids are at the flags, the parent are the one that can't remember the color that was on the back of the bib. So usually the parents end up at the radio station and then we can join them together once they're found. Parking, we've already spoken to Vince at City Parking. We've got all of that taken care of. We're going to take all of the parking along Bannock and Jefferson and half of 6th right around Cecil Andrus Park and have that zone for our use as well. So that is the end of that slideshow. Ta-da.
Wonderful. Thank you for the presentation. And yes, this is another great event that the community loves, and we look forward just to seeing how you revamp it to get more attendance. We will be watching the traffic in that area. We'll leave that up to Tanya, our expertise, unless, are you doing the red light, green light game for them? Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with you, Tanya, on the traffic control.
I love that this event is all inclusive. That's awesome. I would definitely be a parent running with my child, maybe not running, moving with my child. We can touch base offline for the things that I need.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really, excuse me, have much either. I will say if you want an old crusty Public Works truck,
Hey,
I could maybe find an old crusty one.
I think
know?
you brought out, was it Public Works that owns those really fancy sidewalk street sweepers?
No,
That's ACHG.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, maybe steal theirs.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be good.
Well, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, that's all I've got.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
We are about all wrapped up on this. I have some things to take care of on my end, but I have everything I need from you. Just a reminder to the team, the dumpsters are delivered on Friday and removed on Monday. Want to be clear on that. Thank you.
David, we're set. We have everything reserved and ready to go, and we even have the spots for Conrad for the dumpsters, so we're good. Thank you.
Hi, David. Our concern is always the impact this is going to have on our bus routes. So the closures, will our buses be able to exit Main Street Station or from 8th and Main and go through Capitol Boulevard during the event? Will there be flaggers? Or do we have to halt all operations while the race is underway?
Typically, we've never had to completely halt anything. We do a rolling closure, so there may be a little delay, but from the start of the first runner passing any point on the course to the last runner, historically is only about a 15-minute holdup. So we work with BPD and all of our volunteers to make sure that we're closing when necessary, and then we reopen as soon as possible after the fact. And to my knowledge, we have not had to do full closure of bus routes.
Great. We love that.
Yep.
Thanks for working with us. I think
Mhm.
we're good.
We'll go with Central District Health.
This event is good to go, my friend. Just submit the paperwork and yeah, no issues there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, city risks looks good.
Thanks.
We are all set as well. Thank you.
Everything's looking good from our end. We'll just coordinate more as we get closer for if there's weddings or anything the night before we can help out with.
Looks like the same setup as last year, so we're good to go. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Looks good to me. I anticipate the same staffing as last year. As far as the bus barn went, I think last year we did have it timed, if I remember correctly, that it caused very little delay. We were able to have somebody stationed there and get them across the roadway quick. So we shouldn't have an issue there.
Mhm.
And that looks good. We'll get you a staffing agreement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you alluded to, we're going to be monitoring construction downtown. And so we'll likely have a brief safety and security meeting that we'll reach out to coordinate on just to make sure everything's lined up
Okay.
from that perspective. But other than that, looks great. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And just one thing to mention too, the Capital City Public Market is on the Grove, but also on 8th Street between Idaho and Maine. So there will be a lot of pedestrians kind of in that area. So it'll be good to have the patrol and awareness for the bus routes. So we'll just coordinate that a little bit more when it gets closer to.
Absolutely.
All right.
Real quickly, with the state of Idaho, are you using the Jefferson Street staircase at the Capitol for your finish line?
No, it's on Capitol Boulevard between Jefferson and Bannock currently.
No reservation for the staircase?
Not that we've ever gotten in the past.
Okay. No use of the State House. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, and we will see you guys either at the races or next month for another
Okay.
presentation.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have any events pending approval before we meet again. There's a couple of smaller things that I've emailed people about if it pertains to you as far as film permits or just smaller events and things of that sort. If you didn't get the email, don't worry about it. As far as the calendar goes, we're still working on that, building it for later on in the year. If there's any blackout dates, we'll get those posted as soon as possible. But that's all I have for today. Anyone else have anything else? All right, we're adjourned.